Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here today with one of my Ginseng Ficus trees. The plan for today is to continue working on the branch structure on this tree, which means we're going to prune back a couple of these branches here, working on the ramification, and probably potentially also applying some wire to the tree. Let me give you a little view on this tree. You probably can spot right away there's a lot of new growth, even though it is cold season right now here. This tree has not stopped growing the entire winter actually. And I think the logical next step for this tree is to work a little bit on the branch structure. It already has nice primary branches, of course. The secondary branches also are coming in quite nicely. But on those tertiary branches, so where really we look at the more detailed ramification, there we can definitely still do some work here and set it up for a growth season in a right way, so we really make the most out of the next growth season. And for that, I think right now is the best time. And I would start with really looking at the different sectors of this tree and then getting into where we can prune. And one thing I see right away is that here we don't really have any ramification yet at this branch. You can see there's no growth all the way up till here basically, and then there's one little side branch and then the main branch continues here. So what I would do is of course shorten the main branch here, wondering if we should go even further back and hope for some back budding to a point somewhere here to have more dense growth appearing again, because it is quite laggy. So you can really see how this sticks out to the rest of the tree. And this, of course, will continue to get more laggy after a while. So I think the best part here is actually if we take out this entire growth. Let me see how close I will get here with taking it out. I would say probably roughly here above where there used to be a side branch that broke off. I think if we go somewhere here and take this off, that is definitely a good chunk of branch that we took off this way, and this would make a very nice propagation anyway. So I will stick this in just a little glass with water and see if it takes root, and if so, it is definitely worth trying to continue with this and in a couple of years continue working on that. So that was the first branch. I already see some of the sap that is typical for Ginseng Ficus coming out here at the wound. It will normally also help seal the wound, so I'm not pulling any sealing paste or anything on it. Normally never do with my ficuses. And we continue here, basically same problem as before. We have one branch coming out here. It is already starting to get woody, which is a good sign, but there is no ramification. So again, I would go in here and just take it out at a certain point here. Many of the branches here on this little side branch are actually showing already nice ramification. You can really see here the branch structure starting to develop in a very nice way. We might wire this out a little bit later, but other than that, I'm very happy. I can see a lot of back budding here happening also. I hope this is visible on camera. There is new growth coming from here as well. So even more branching out happening, as well as here also. These tips seem very healthy. We have a little branch down here that I think we simply kept on as a potential back branch. Of course, this depends where you see the front and the back of this tree. I actually would probably rather see this as the front. To be honest, both could work as a front. But what I wanted to say is we left this on to fill in this lower part right here that would normally separate those two parts. And the question is, do we want to continue with this or go with a different style where we wire this even a bit further down as a side branch and continue with this as a main branch in the future? That could actually be interesting in my opinion, to really change the shape of this tree also a little bit, because I do like the branch right here. It is very thick and very strong in comparison. It fits very nicely also to the rest of the taper here. Of course, we have a grafted ficus ginseng here, so we have some unsightly areas here that hopefully over the years will grow out a little bit better. We might also see how we can improve that still today. But I actually believe that could make this tree look a little bit more interesting if we take out the branch here, turn this into a little side branch here, and continue with this as the main part of the tree. We will try to bend this down a little bit then. I can see already here there has been a branch before that has died back. I think even before I got this tree. So it looks a little bit dead here. I have to keep in mind that there doesn't seem to be much viable bark left here, so hope this will callus over. We might clean this out a little bit to encourage this to callus over. But other than that, we see a healthy tree growth still here, so it should be fine. Let's continue then with what I would consider the main branch, and we have this little side branch down here, sticking out a little bit, maybe a bit too much in parallel with the branch right here. And especially with the new design we're going for, I don't think we really need this. So once again, I'm going in here, taking this out. I will clean out the little cuts here a little bit later with my concave cutter, but for now I would just once go around the tree and then really go in and clean out when we're done with that. I'm happy also with the branch structure up here, to be honest. The pruning back we have done in previous sessions is definitely paying off. Here you can still see we don't get so much back budding, so we'll take this out. I took it out. There's a tiny little leaf starting to develop right here, so I left this on. Here we do have nice ramification already. We might even try to encourage a little bit more here. And the same thing up here. It's getting woody, but don't see any ramifications, so we take out the tip. And down here, a nice branch structure developing. Here's the one we took out before. So we basically made our way around this tree now. Let's see, it already definitely cleaned it up a little bit. It's a bit more compact, more tight again. But as we said, I think I want to try to develop this more into a side branch here, take it out, take it down here a little bit, clean up the areas here. But for that, I would probably first clean up. So once we apply the wire, we're not somewhere in the way where we cannot clean it up then. So as I mentioned, I'm now switching to my concave cutter to clear some of these or clean some of these cuts we've taken here. It just helps you to go as flush as possible here with the main branch, which of course makes it heal nicer because you don't have those unsightly stubs then here. Something we had, for example, here, it seems. And I will also try to clean this out a little bit. It has died back already, but I just want to remove some of this dead wood here, because it is actually dead wood, so it has died back quite considerably here. I think I already can see that here it starts to callus over. I think if we're only clearing it out like this. Definitely when we wire in a couple of seconds, then we have to be careful that the tree won't snap here. That is definitely a risk. I can see the tree here has died back quite considerably. There's only underneath here still live bark, I would say, and live wood, so definitely something we have to keep in mind. So let me look around. I think we didn't take out any other branch right at the main stem, so there's nothing else I need to clean up with my concave cutter at the moment, which means we can move on to wiring. And for that I have some wire here. It is 2mm gauge, and I think this should be enough to secure this branch here. The question is, where do we secure it? With probably the main branch here. Gives us good leverage then to bend here. If we go around here, maybe even around the main trunk or in between here, we will see in which direction it goes best. But for that, let me see how much wire we need. And I just prepare the wire. And then we will start to bend this. And I think it actually makes sense to go in here. But before we do that, we still have here basically the stem of the root base here that the actual parts of the tree with the leaves are grafted onto. The question is, should we clean this up a little bit as well? It has definitely died back by now. It has probably died back a long time before I got this tree. And I think we can just make this a little bit nicer looking by removing some of this dead wood here. Not that easy to get a grip here, so it's definitely biting step by step into here. But just by rounding out the shape here a little bit, it makes it look more natural, like this is actually part of the same tree. I think also from back here, hopefully we can bite a little bit into here. Yeah, it is. Let me see. Definitely. And I think a little bit up here still we can. Let me see if I can reach this, because even with the concave cutter, it's not always that easy, and I want to make sure I'm not damaging any other part of the tree. But this actually came off by itself now, so it broke off the dead wood. Anyway, yeah, makes it already look a bit cleaner, so the transition is simply looking a little bit nicer here. So back to wiring, because I think now we can definitely apply the wire through here. We would go, see that the length is fine. I would go once around the main trunk here and just make our way up here. We're not gonna bend this part of the tree. The wire wouldn't be thick enough anyway. It's just really to get a good grip on this branch right here that we definitely need to be able to bend it. So I'm making this also quite close together here, focusing on the part of the branch that doesn't have any leaves or any side branches coming off, because we will need a lot of force to actually bring this down. Then I can even bring down this little part here to even it out more for a side branch then. And now, as I said, I will hold here with my fingers over where the dead wood actually is. So we're not bending from that part, we really just bend the rest of the tree down a little bit to give it a little bit more shape. Problem I have a little bit here is that it is going up in a little curve here right from the beginning, which doesn't look that natural, to be honest. Maybe over time, when it also starts to go thicker here, still this will look better, but let me try to actually bend it a little bit more. Hopefully not snapping the tree here. And also giving it some movement here. And I think that already looks nice. It also brings this a little bit forward. We can still move this a little bit down to have really side branches here. Let's look at it from the other side. I'm not sure yet I'm happy with it, and if I can see that in the future this would be looking somewhat good, to be honest. Let me think about it. If I like this design, if we, I mean, I'm close to saying like we might take this out completely right now, focusing only on the length here, improving the taper over time. That could be also a potential. So if we think of this being completely gone as a tree, I don't like the thickness that much yet. I will wait a little bit to do that. But we would cut this out anyway also, so really like this. Could work. It could work. I think that's actually what we're going to do. So I think change of plans. We will go a little bit more drastic on this tree than I have anticipated when I started to prune it for today actually. But I think in the end, the design will simply be better this way, because we remove some unsightly parts of this tree this way, change the shape, and also change the shape of this typical ficus ginseng that you find in garden centers, box stores, and give it more of a unique shape, which of course is always something that can benefit a tree when it gets its very unique shape and goes a little bit off from what you usually find. So I will try to take this out simply here now and take off this branch, and definitely try to root that one, because this could make a nice tree in no time. So we just go in like this first. Of course the wood here is very hard at the moment already. Taking this out, you can actually see the graft here now quite nicely where those two trees were grafted together. So at least this allows us the opportunity to take a look at this a little bit. And now we still clean out the wound. So again, I will switch to my concave cutter and make sure we take out this very unsightly part here. And you can actually see where the wood died a little bit back here when the graft was made. And still here cleaning up a little bit, Now we can actually take more out of this because we can reach it better. So all the dead wood here probably will jump away in a second if we can actually take it out. This is very hard, but it's coming loose. And here you can really see this is all dead wood. So I have to go even a bit further in here to take it out. You can see this has died back completely already here. And also a little bit here. So for the first part, I think I would leave it at that. I don't want to go even further than this because I don't want to damage the tree unnecessarily. It is quite a big wound. So we let this heal over again. It is actually a big wound, but half of it is already died back, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And this leaves us with a definitely different looking tree. But I think in the future this will benefit the look of this tree, especially when here the trunk continues to strengthen and get thicker. So we'll let this grow out a little bit more wildly now for the next growth season. So definitely change of plans. Still, of course, having a look at the branch structure. We have anyway put that in motion already. But yes, I think this tree could have a very interesting future this way. Also working on the branches here a little bit. Yeah, that is actually something we might still do now. Even though this is naturally growing anyway in this direction. No, I will leave it freely for now until I really have a closer look. See how the growth pattern is on this tree, because I expect a lot of backbudding also happening now after we took out such huge chunks of the tree. And then we will see in which direction we'll take this in the future. But definitely a transformation. As I said, this part here will try to propagate. It is already a nice thickness. Probably will clean out the root base here a little bit still. Even though if I let this on and some branches or some roots are starting to develop down here, this could also have a nice effect. Probably I will leave it for now like this and see where the roots will develop. And this tree is definitely now set up for next growth season to develop it further and work on design. Let me think on your ideas for this tree. Would you have taken out this little side branch? Would you have tried to work it into more of a side branch? Or would you have done it this way? I have done it to really take it out and change the shape of this tree. Really interested to hear your ideas on this. So please simply leave those in the comments. If you enjoy my video, of course, feel free to leave a like. And if you enjoy my channel, of course, feel free to subscribe to it so you never miss a video in the future. Hopefully I will see you then in the next video. Until then, take care.